Hey guys, welcome to a deep dive critique on level 3. Today we're going to be going over the level 3 beam routine. If you're watching this here on YouTube, we'll be going into a bit of depth, but I go into much more depth and a lot of details through the code of points, the routines, etc. on my pre-recorded videos that you can find below here, or you can find it in my description. But here on YouTube, I still want to go through a deep dive on the routine, but I go into much greater detail on the judge and critique routines that you can find below or in the description. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. All right, in that mount, you can see as soon as she mounts, she bends that back leg. This is great. A lot of level 3s will not automatically bend that leg. It is a part of the choreography, the artistry. Please make sure you are reading the code of points or you purchase the code of... I always encourage purchasing the code of points for coaches, obviously, judges, obviously, but even parents and gymnasts. Like, read through your code of points. You can purchase the code of points right here. I'll put it on the screen right here, and the steps to get there, because it can sometimes be kind of confusing, the website, but just play around on the website and you should be able to find it. I do suggest purchasing the ebook over the actual physical copy of the book, because the code does get randomly updated at times, and instead of having to print out sheets to fix the physical book, if you have the ebook and you have it up on your laptop or like your iPad like I do, you can just update the ebook on your iPad and it automatically updates the rules and pages that were changed. That way you're not having to have all these paper, and you can just always have the code on you, and I just think it's way better. I've purchased the physical copies. I wish I never would have. I wish I automatically would have just started with the iPad. So I suggest the ebook, but if you're a person that likes to have the physical copy, which I totally get, then purchase that. Just know if there's updates, you're probably going to have to print stuff out. Okay, let's continue on. So that is great. Right here in her choreography, looks very nice. You can tell she's got very good presentation. She did a really great job with that. Your presentation is so important. Let's now talk about presentation and artistry. So with artistry, we get gymnasts, I say we, like I'm still a gymnast. Gymnasts get deducted on artistry no matter the levels, whether it's Excel, compulsory, optional, elite, college. Artistry on floor and beam are super important. And there are a few key things that we talk about and we look at with artistry. I'll have them up here so you can see that and you can read through it. But an umbrella thought of it is just really good expression, performance, extension, showing the routine off, having good chin-ups, having good flair, having good extension. There's a lot that goes into being to having good artistry. So we'll continue on. I really like her artistry thus far, just with the presentation and her chin up. Going into her first skill is this handstand. Now we'll back it up a little bit. So you'll see right here is the peak of her handstand. She's a little bit off of her vertical. We have to get it all the way up to that vertical, or there will be an amplitude deduction, the amplitude deduction there. Now, the body position, I think, looks good. She maybe has a slight arch in her lower back, but overall, I think the body position in her routine or her handstand is a positive. She's just slightly missing that vertical. So we want to make sure we get all the way up there. She has good control in her landing. Going on to this artistry, I think that looks good. Going into her snap turn. Now let's go back so we can pinpoint a few key things. Number one, it's important that that foot is right here in the passe like she has it. This is great. You see toe to knee, her foot is pointed. Excellent. This is what we want to see. Sometimes the foot can be off the knee. She's starting with her heel down. This is great because in level 3, they have to do a snap turn. They don't do an actual half turn where they already start in releve or they push to the one-legged. They have to come off that heel, which makes it a heel snap. Half turn there on the beam. Now in the turn itself, I think her body position looks good. Her releve is a little bit low, so I'll put the releve deductions up right here. So not only do we deduct artistry, we're also deducting footwork, which involves the releve, and you can see these things right here. It includes when they are supposed to be in releve, how high is the releve? Are they going up? Are their feet sickled? Are they walking flexed feet? So now coming out of her turn, she does a good job of dropping her heel like she's supposed to. A lot of kids won't drop their heel and they just automatically step out. This is a deduction. She has a slight little balance check. I would label that more as a small wobble. So this could vary half a tenth to a tenth. It's up to the judge. There is that subjective nature in that. Moving on right here, she does a really nice releve right there out of the turn. Moving on to straight jump, straight jump. First straight jump, she has nice height, nice body position. You could argue that maybe her toes are a little loose in the ankle or maybe like a soft point. So there could be some deduction depending on how the judges see it. From my angle, I'm not sure if I would really deduct her on feet, but maybe from the other side, it could look more flexed. So you always just want to make sure, knees straight, toes pointed, that it's done really tight, because even if the knees are straight, but they're not all the way straight, they look kind of soft, loose, this is something that can still be deducted under like soft knees, which counts as bent knees. Going into her second straight jump, this I would argue there is some foot form, maybe some flexing some feet apart. So this one I would say there's definitely a more obvious deduction in my opinion on that straight jump, but I really like her height of her jump. She's really jumping off the beam. This is something that can be deducted. I want to go back in the connection of her straight jump that I thought was done well. She does a good job of keeping the rhythm in her straight jump. If that connection breaks or she wobbles, those are things that we can deduct. Automatically goes into this pose. Notice her nice high releve. This is great. This is just helping her artistry and that footwork score specifically. Going into her scale, we want to lift it up to a minimum of 45 degrees in level 3. She gets to horizontal. This is a beautiful scale. I'll have this up on the screen where you see a visual of what they want in level 3, but she does a great job of surpassing it. It is no deduction for her to go higher than what's expected. We'll never punish a kid for going beyond excellent expectations. She does have to hold it, which she does a great job of that. She's very still. She's very controlled. Her chest is up. I really like her scale. Going into her leap, right here on her leap, you can see one leg, the front leg, will actually go up and kind of start coming down by the time the back leg's starting to kick. There could be a slight deduction for uneven split there because it is kind of like a teeter-totter type of technique or leap. So we want to make sure we're really leaping off that one leg and both legs are coming up into the air nice on that leap. Now, in terms of her degree, here's the degree that she has to be in level 3. I believe it's 90 degrees. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head, but I'll have that solidification right here on the screen. But in level 3, I believe her degree angle for the leap has to be 90 degrees. I would also say in her leap itself, we're missing a little bit of height. She's not jumping off that leg as well as we would like to see. This is common in level 3. I mean, first of all, beam is scary. It's 4 inches, very intimidating. So at this level, they're really getting used to being brave on the beam, and sometimes they hold back in these leaps. This happens a lot, and we see this, but unfortunately, it's still a deduction because we're trying to teach them how to be comfortable on the beam and really leap off the beam and get some height. Her leap, I think she does a good job of showing the scale. They need to show that scale when they land, nice and controlled. She comes down and right back up to a pretty releve, and I think her form throughout the routine has been great. Just remember that any bent knee can be up to 3/10, bent elbows can be up to 3/10, leg separation is up to 2, their feet crossing when they're not supposed to in a skill can be up to 1. Going into her lock pivot, she does a good job of doing the correct choreography here. She takes a step 1 and then step 2 to lock. One could argue she should be a little bit closer in her lock, and I would say yes, maybe all the way locked there so we're not getting a feet apart deduction or a footwork deduction of some sort. The pivot itself, she's nice and tall in her releve. She's got good form body position, and she does that pivot nice and sharp. They will get deducted if they're not doing their pivot sharp, as you can see here from the code of points. So very crucial that in the pivot, legs are together, knees straight, tall body position, and a sharp pivot with that. Automatically steps in front, which is correct. Some kids will take an extra step into that lock position. Like in the beginning, it was 1-2, but after that, it should only be 1 to pivot. Some kids go 1-2 pivot, 1-2 pivot, and that is incorrect. So this is correct choreography. I would say on this releve, she does drop it just a little bit, so there could be some releve footwork deduction happening there. Going into the dismount, we want to show that vertical all the way up. She has nice body position here. Her feet are together, elbow straight, very nice form. She really shows that handstand. There is no requirement in showing that handstand for a certain period of time. Now, when she comes down out of the dismount, she does have a little bit of pike in her hips. I'm going to pause it right when I see it. Right about here, she pikes ever so slightly. It's definitely a very minimal pike, but I can see there is a slight pike in her hips versus the hollow, so there could be a little pike deduction there. Landing with her feet together and stuck, and salutes her judge with those feet together. So overall, this is a very nice routine, a very good level 3 routine to really go off of. Okay, we're actually going to go through the code of points together. That is the full beam routine on level 3, a breakdown right there. That's us going through the full code. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you're watching this here on YouTube and you would like the full breakdown, you can find that stuff below. And good luck this season.